Welcome back to IXION. Now, I should probably start stating that this is episode number 18 at the beginning of the episode, because I managed to erroneously tag the episode yesterday, the second episode yesterday, as episode 16, while the first one was episode 16. It's just a YouTube thing. Anyhow, the goal of this episode is to get a new sector open, but that will be within Chapter 3. Before we get ahead to Chapter 3, there is a couple of things that I want to clarify. I have done some huge mistakes, and I hope that I will not be paying for those mistakes, but I don't think I will be paying for them. I think it will be fine. But the big mistake I've done is that while I was talking about these technologies in the last episode, these technologies are actually very, very important to get. So we are going to change our current research immediately. I haven't spent a single research point into this, thankfully. We're going to change that to personal computer. And I need to pay attention now. It will take 2.5 cycles until it's done, and we'll continue down this tree. The 200 points you spend to get the computing optimization at the 200th point here will take 120 cycles, and then you are in balance. So from cycle 121 onwards, you're actually making an excess of science, which is kind of important. So yeah, that was the first thing. The second thing is I want to get the ice that's here. It's not strictly necessary, but I do want to get some of this ice before we leave the chapter. So I'm going to pause the recording while I collect that ice, and during the time where I'm pausing, one of the things that also will be happening is that I'm going to since I can't change the queued research to this one because it's grayed out, because it requires the personal computer. So I'm going to have to pay attention to this. Now, finally, the one thing that I want to do before we pause is go into these DLS centers and enable restricted food. Yes, I'm aware that's going to put me down to neutral, and that's fine. I might get an event because of this, where some inhabitants in a sector might say that, hey, we are running on low food rations for a long time now. And the only thing that I'll have to do if that event triggers is to promise to re-enable normal food rations. And I'll do so for that sector should that happen while the game is paused. I don't intend to mine all of that ice. I just intend to have like 350 or so ice before we move on to the next chapter. So I shall see you all in a short moment. And there we go. I've mined the nodes that was down here, so we have 374 ice, and I set that one to be avoided. I also finished those two researches, so let's quickly start the next one, which is family at work. Research that. And then I have also disabled the cryonic center. That will probably become apparent why I have done in the next chapter. In addition, of course, this sector had the event pop up, so they demanded that I set the food policy to generous. But that's for 15 cycles, because that's what it takes. And you can see how many cycles it has been since I implemented that. 6.7, I believe. And I'm going to take it back to let's power this one on. I'm going to take it back to restricted as soon as those 15 cycles are over. And the only reason I'm keeping this powered on is because I want Eden to tell me that a new policy can be applied. Otherwise, I'm turning off the DLS centers when I remember, that is. I've also shut off the power on the secondary mess halls because now we only need 47 food to feed 750 crew members because each population takes 7 instead of 10. So this is food conservation. I probably also can shut down one of the crop farms because of that, because we are doing quite well on food with these being full and these being full. And yes, with that...
In accordance with Frostpunk procedures, all ships must return to the Tycoon before Volt Jump initiation.
Thank you, Eden.
IXION engine ready. Full jump complete. Running preliminary diagnostics. Expected irreversible damage to the Tycoon detected. We have not reached the exoplanet Remus. Tycoon primary sensors are picking up vast amounts of debris. Act with caution, Administrator. We must reach Remus.
And here we are. New objective, fate of the Etemenanki. New objective, test colonization protocols. And this place is not very pleasant, as the music also indicates. As you can see, this system has
Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
Massive storm going on. Looks like a plasma toxic storm of some kind. We have a new request. I'm not sure what that might be. Administrator, the crew are encouraged by how many survivors we have brought aboard the Tycoon. The increased population reinforces the feeling that our goal of saving humanity is achievable. The new crew members, woken from cryonic pods, are now part of something bigger than themselves. Plus 10% trust bonus. Strength of the collective. Resistance is futile. So, let's pause the game here, because I have a lot of things that I need to do. Let's see. First and foremost, we need to re-enable this docking bay, and we need to re-enable the probe launcher, and we have to start pushing out probes as quickly as possible here. So the Maxwell, you go to the destroyed command center, and for those of you who haven't played Chapter 3, pay attention to how things look currently. The rest of you will know what I'm referring to. Let's launch a probe. We need to find... Yeah, that looks like a really good spot. If we can get... We can usually get all three. When you get like 3 green signals, you can usually find the sweet spot and get all 3 of them in one go. It's almost there. Almost. Oh, come on, come on. There we go. Oof. And the next thing we need to check is how many resources we have in this sector. To open this wall, we require 4 electronics, 80 alloys, 16 food, and 40 workers. How many workers do we have here? Ample, at least currently. So we are going to override the locks on that wall. I haven't read this before. Access to this sector is restricted under Dolo's AEC test protocols. To force entry, electronics and polymer must be spent. Manual override the gateway's lock algorithms. I think it should say alloys. Additionally, basic functioning of the sector necessitates the transfer of food, alloy, and workers, because we don't need any polymer here at all. We also have an event here. Administrator. A sector has converted to the cult of the hull. This has had a positive impact on the morale of the crew. The converts are waiting to hear your opinion on their worship. Sanctifying the Tycoon and its facilities does not directly violate any Dolo's directives. So we can either embrace the writings of Bargeville, the Tycoon is a body, the hull is its skin, and we are its blood, or we can suppress them. I have absolutely no clue whether or not this is a good idea, either of these. But given the choices I've made so far in this playthrough, I think we are going to embrace this cult and allow them to do their worship. And I think that's what we needed to do for now.
A science ship has arrived at its destination. An accident has occurred in the Tycoon.
Of course. Summary of intelligence on the Etemenanki's command center. Initial reports indicate that we have found the wreckage of the Etemenanki's command center. The UN ship appears to have been attacked. Transmission from the Maxwell's team. Although the command center of the Etemenanki is heavily armored, the structure has suffered terrible bombardment. It appears as if something sliced through the larger superstructure of the Etemenanki. This must have dislodged the center and separated it from the rest of the ship. Numerous pieces of debris and corpses float around the ruin. We have located a breach within the armor plating that should allow us to get inside. The Maxwell's team will enter the command center through the identified breach. And yeah, this place is not very pleasant at all. And the Etyemanki is formidable, shall we say? Look at the size of the Tycoon, which looked rather huge from
a probe has completed its
when we have played through, and then you have this ginormous thing here. So, yeah. Again, I kind of doubt that the events after the moon happened very quickly. It must have been decades, as I've mentioned earlier. We've unlocked the technology family at work. That's good. I should start applying mining vessels here. I do want to assign the light bulb, because we're going to need the light bulb. And then we're going to assign the other mining ships in this sector. Godzilla. Huh. We can also assign the Godzilla in the Vancouver docking bay. We have Vancouver, we have Venice, we have Tallinn, and we have Hamburg. How long will it take until... Yeah, they are working. Good. And we also need to give them orders. The primary thing we need to mine is actually iron for the time being. So we'll set 3 of them to mine iron, 1 of them to mine carbon. Now the probe is ready. Yeah, let's take that point. Also, thank you all for the feedback on the editing stuff. Now, I'm not going to do much pausing, except for the one pause that I already did in this specific episode, because there's plenty of things to do. We are going to set up this new sector, and that does require its attention. Let me see here. We are going to build a road like that and like that. I don't want to go too far out. Let's put down a workshop in the corner there and a stockpile there for alloys. And we'll wait until we can clear out these others before we place down more things here. We do have the +10 sector stability modifier temporarily from opening a new sector. In my shadow save, I actually opened a new sector and then took all the workers out of it. That was rather hard when I came back there. Because you don't have the +10 modifier then, and they were not happy.
A science ship team has completed a task.
I think I was at like -7. Summary of intelligence on the Etemenanki's command center. The frozen rooms through which the Maxwell's team have had to navigate are from a nightmare. Projectile damage covers most surfaces, and there are signs of electrical fires having raged throughout the corridors. This is not to discount the ever-present grim sight of severed corpses. Upon entering the bridge, the team discovered the bodies of the commander-in-chief and other officers. It appears they took their own lives. We must retrieve the Remus data. The Tycoon should be kept in close proximity to the command center. This will allow the Maxwell's team to use the station's power via the retractable telescopic pole and access the center's terminals. The team of the Maxwell will search for any data that may contain the coordinates of the exoplanet Remus. The Tycoon should be kept in proximity to supply power. Now, let's put down a mess hall. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I need to build more road. This way I won't have to move the thing again afterwards. I'd rather not have to do that. If my memory serves me right, this thing is... you can see it here. It's 8x4. So, food, mess hall, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of course. So let's build a road like that, because I need to remove these two. Can also build a road like that and get rid of these two. Okay, let's count again. I want it to be that way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can continue this road. Like so. Now we do need a stockpile for food. And I want that a big one there, but I can also put a small one for food here. Now we need to deal with the sector management here, so we need to import food. For now, I'm not going to enable alloys because while we are going to need alloys aplenty in this sector, I first want to clean up the floors. We can set the food in this sector to be at a minimum of 40 for now. We will also need to import electronics, even though there is a pile here of 6. People in here will also eventually, of course, want to have crew quarters and things like that. We can already now start out with building an infirmary. I want to build that there. And if anyone's wondering, yes, I'm looking at a reference for how I want the sector to look. And no, it is not someone else's design. It is my own design. So I have actually planned out this sector in advance. I need to raise my desk, so I'll just mute the microphone while I do that, so that you guys don't get that annoying noise into the recording. There we go. Okay, so we need a stockpile for electronics here. We don't need a large one or medium one for that.
Ship team has completed a task.
So big or medium. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a space, and then one here. So I might have to turn it around. This one will accept electronics, and let's go see what the crew has to say. Oh boy. Transmission from the Maxwell's team. Administrator, the Remus coordinates aren't here. As you know, Vol coordinates are incredibly complex algorithms that require advanced technology for their storage and application. We did identify a storage area within the command center where such equipment, perhaps including that stolen from the Protagoras, should have been held. It has been ripped away, shorn by cutting lasers and taken. There is some small hope. A single damaged calculator terminal was found. Power supplied from the Tycoon has allowed us to access it. It appears that in the Etemenanki's final moments, while they attempted to address the colossal damage done to their ship, the crew were able to identify and record the self-similar signature of their attacker as it withdrew. Perhaps they hoped to later mount some sort of pursuit to recover the stolen coordinates of Remus. We are now in possession of that signature. It belongs to the Piranesi, a ship of the Black Market Society. This is where our hope fades. The few officers' logs we have found that detail the attack are terrifying. It seems highly likely that the coordinates of Remus are now on board the Piranesi. Having processed the data we have found within the center, and thanks to old recordings of now inactive distress signals, we have been able to locate other parts of the Etyemanki which have drifted across this system. By the way, I haven't read these, this is, even though I've been to the system in my shadow save and done a couple of things, I very consciously avoid reading the text. I just look at what I get and I move on. So this is also quite interesting for me. There is one exception to that, and that is the Naomi protocols, because I like to have them pre-translated. We can either investigate further into the Piranesi's attack, or we can determine the Etemenanki's previous mission objectives. I think we can do both. Let's further investigate the attack from the Piranesi. The Maxwell's team will analyze the Piranesi's attack on the Etemenanki, and the Tycoon should be kept in close proximity to supply power. Okay, so we have that down, good.
Administrator, you can implement a new policy.
Administrator, the debris field we have entered is mostly composed of corpses. The floating bodies bump against the hull and create sounds that reverberate throughout the Tycoon's sectors. This is not proving beneficial for crew morale. DLS reports indicate that EVA crews are discussing their experiences working outside the Tycoon with colleagues in the mess halls, compounding the problem. Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that. I guess I could add to the fact that I mentioned earlier, this is not a pleasant place. And I guess that would be the understatement of the century or something. Oh, perfect. So we're going to build a demotic quarter there. A road here, and we can also extend this one like so. We are still at optimal workers. Did they? Oh, they already had an accident here. But I think we're fine for placing down another workshop. I don't know if that gives anything. -1 from the floating corpses. Happy, happy. Where am I getting additional? Oh, of course, we lost the -1 from the staying too long in the system. That's why things are not going into angry. I distinctly saw an event icon on that, which disappeared. Well, I'm not unhappy about that, because that event icon might very well have been a request for me to start up the unfreezing again. Which I am not ready. Can I prioritize this, please? It is kind of more important than the roads. But apparently this mech has other ideas and continues building roads.
The team has completed a task.
As the Etmenanki paused in the Croc system, it was surprised and attacked by the Piranesi. I'm not sure. Reports indicate colossal casualties. The UN crew was able to find a flaw in the Piranesi's defense systems and managed to mount a boarding assault. I think I prefer the Piranesi, responded by firing its main weapon before fleeing the system. The last survivors of the attack who could not enter cryonic pods either died from the cold or slowly asphyxiated in the days that followed. So we have... I don't know if we have Dolos out there. I mean, what Olympia told us at Jupiter was that Dolos managed to get to Remus. The UN obviously followed in this gigantic ship of theirs, the Etemenanki, and apparently the Black Market Society too followed in their ship, the Piranesi. so yeah, this is getting involuted. Okay, finally we need to determine the Etemenanki's previous mission objectives. And again, the Tycoon needs to be in close proximity to supply power, but I had no intentions of moving it, so that's fine. Okay, Mr. Mech, could you please go and build that instead of building roads? Thank you. Most generous of you to listen to what I have told you to do. Okay, so I need to just momentarily pause the game because I need to put down a couple of things here. We do want a cryonics center here, but I do want to pause it. We also want a mess hall. It doesn't really matter what way I build it. We are going to lose 4 tiles anyways. We're going to pause that. I'm also going to have them in power off mode when they finish up. Under stability, we do want to build a DLS center. So we'll build that and pause it, have it powered off. And then finally, we will want to build a Lunaclism memorial. And this might be a tiny cue for all of you that, yes, this is going to be a population scale. Can pause that as well. We do need it, but oh no, I don't think we need it actually. As soon as this thing completes, I think we should be good. Because that removes -3 and replaces it with +3. Yeah, we need either that one or the DLS center. Okay, this is just getting mildly annoying with only 5 trucks driving around, so let's prioritize this and set it to alloys. Oh, I've forgotten the probes. Okay, I don't really need the points of interest currently. That looks promising. Okay, we have ample iron currently, so we can set another one to do carbon, and we can set 2 to do silicon. Move these. Integrity is at -3, but we're balanced, so we're going to hover around here without having to enable the third EVA, and as long as we're just spending 5.6 per cycle, I'm generally content with hovering around this area here. There, 624, that's balance, that's fine.
Probe has completed its scan.
You might already have a new one. There's some ice there.
A science ship team has completed a task.
By powering the command center, the Maxwell's team was able to extract and analyze core mission data. The Etemenanki was a UN ship initially launched to find other exoplanets. Early data logs from their voyage indicate a glaring lack of preparation to accomplish such a task. In the absence of a habitable exoplanet, they seem to have concentrated on the search for what the UN had designated as enemies of humanity, Dolos and the Ashtangites. By boarding the Protagoras, the Etemenanki was able to locate Remus. Now, this is kind of important when it comes to this chapter. Look at where this line here goes. It goes down there and all the way down here. And now leave. And look what happens.
Administrator, we have found the Piranesi signature stored in the Etemenanki's destroyed command center. It is a ship unlike any other in our records, a formidable opponent, now in possession of the Remus coordinates. The eventual failure of the Tycoon's hull is inevitable. We have no other choice but to confront the Piranesi. Before we leave the system, we must find a way to develop an effective countermeasure strategy.
Piranesi. Yeah. Now the thing that I've discovered
A science ship has arrived at its destination.
is that you can keep this order at bay so long as you do not leave the event. The moment you click leave, this thing moves. So we want to be very careful with what we do here. And mine resources, definitely, in the area up here. And I'm not going to do the other science events. I'm going to collect the science. And I'm not going to do them until I'm ready. Because I don't know how that weather will affect us.
An accident has occurred in the Tycoon.
Well, I do know how the weather will affect us because we've it's the same kind of lightning storm thing. It's just plasma storms instead of lightning storms, it would seem. So, yeah. We also got a new mission. Prepare for the Piranesi. Find a countermeasure for its attacks and build up enough batteries so that at least 4 sectors will have backup power for 5 cycles.
A science ship has arrived at its destination.
So what I'm doing now is I am picking up the science from the various locations here. Speaking of which, we should continue to research while I'm focusing on this sector here. Okay, so we have +4 and we have -4. So we need a DLS center up and running.
A probe has completed its scan.
Let's get these. And I also want another workshop here, which I want to prioritize. And as soon as we're done with all of these... Oops, wrong button. As soon as we're done with all of these little crates, I'm going to start importing alloys to the sector. But I want the floor clean before we do that. That one's gone, good. And that was that one gone. Okay, now we need to do some quick measurements here. I could do this just by putting down roads, but I'll do it this way instead because it's quicker. Dismantle and dismantle. We need to turn off something here. That's 5 workers. That's 4 workers. And we also need workers in here rather quickly. So the quickest place to take workers from would be Sector 6 to Sector 5. Number of crew 20, only workers. In Sector 1 we have ample workers in excess, so we'll transfer those 20 back to Sector 6. And in addition to that, we can also transfer 50 workers from Sector 1 to Sector 5. We have retrieved all of the signs from the command center. Let's go to the reactor wreckage. Let's also launch another probe. There should be a point of interest down there. That was the wrong button. We want the fleet management. Yeah, let's finish up these. But I really need ice. It's not that we're running any critical levels of ice here, but we do need it. Should probably also start picking up these items. Let's go do that. Pause the game while I assign cargo vessels. We can have... I wish it told me what level the ship was. The cornucopia and the Sampo, you guys can live here. Here we can add the Troy, and in this sector we can add number 5 Akshaya Patra and Pelican. And we go out here. No, wait. If I look inside here, we need to power on this one and this one. And we need to go to the fleet management. Number 5, you'll go pick up silicon, and the other 2, Akshaya Patra and Pelican, will pick up the iron. Troy will pick up carbon, and Cornucopia and Sampo will be responsible for picking up ice, when that has been mined, of course. I don't think we need 2 ships on carbon, 1 is sufficient. What we need now is to get ice mining started. And this sector here, yeah, it's going to be a bit of planning. So, I guess you guys you have an idea of what I intend to do here. I'm sure you can see the general thought that I have here. Houses here and here. Then we need some other things over here. But yeah, I think we can just need to collect that science. We should also do the research tech lab and get the computing optimization, which means that we will get more research points or science points much quicker. So yeah. Now I don't want to continue to build out this. I don't want to continue building out this sector off camera. So what we'll do is that we'll wrap up this episode here, and I will continue working on this sector in the next episode while we mine, because I think people might be interested in seeing that. If you're not interested in seeing it, then the episode after that should be a bit more content-rich again, because you might not want to see me plan out the sector, but you might also just want to skim through that. That's all up to you guys, but when it comes to building like this, when I'm not just moving things one tile over, I have no need to do that here. I know exactly how things are going to be looking in this sector when I'm done. So we need to mine stuff, we need to get things into the ship, we need to start up our industry again and build up this sector while we mine and collect things before we start doing more science events, because if I do the science events, that's not going to be good for us at all. So on that note, if you have any questions or comments, then please do feel free to leave those in the comment section below, as per usual. And even if you don't have any, then a little emoji would be very appreciated, just to help out with the YouTube algorithms. I should be releasing a guide to Chapter 2 Science very soon. And I also think that I will be releasing a guide to what technologies you might want to research and prioritize. Most of you probably didn't hear that because most people shut down the episode when I start to say thank you and so forth. But yeah, that's just how it is. Some of you will have heard it, and some of you who hasn't will see the videos, hopefully, when they come up on the channel. For now, thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all, I hope, in the next episode.